Michael Gove has claimed Nicola Sturgeon undermined Brexit negotiations by holding talks with EU officials as negotiations come down to the wire. Talks between Lord Frost and Michel Barnier continue virtually this week as officials on both sides hope to secure a deal before next week. But Cabinet Office Minister Mr Gove warned the First Minister of Scotland the talks were being undermined as a result of her and Scottish officials' intervention. In a letter to Scotland's Constitution Secretary Michael Russell, Mr Gove said the First Minister and the Scottish Government's contacts with the EU chief negotiator were detrimental on the UK stance on fisheries. In the letter, seen by express.co.uk, Mr Gove expressed disappointment of the contact Edinburgh had. He claimed Edinburgh generated an impression the fishing industry supported EU demands for UK waters. Mr Gove made clear the UK government represented the interests of people right across the country, including in Scotland, and is negotiating with the EU on a UK-wide basis. He added, the Scottish Government accepts that international relations, including with the EU, is a reserved matter, and remains the sole responsibility of the UK Government. For this reason, I should record that we have been disappointed by the political-level contacts that the Scottish Government, including the First Minister, have had during the period of the negotiations with the EU's UK Task Force and specifically the EU's chief negotiator. Mr Gove said in the eyes of UK officials, this kind of contact and specifically the discussion of sensitive issues under negotiation had negatively affected the negotiating dynamic. He concluded, in particular, the EU appears to have concluded from these contacts that EU offensive asks, for example on fisheries access and the permanent maintenance of the status quo on unfair common fisheries policy quotas, are outcomes the Scottish Government, and perhaps even more damagingly, Scottish stakeholders, support. This is highly regrettable and damaging to UK interests including in Scotland. An EU source close to the negotiations added, we are negotiating with the UK government on a trade deal. Talks continue virtually this week with a focus on fisheries and the level playing field. Mr Gove's letter comes after Mr Russell claimed Westminster had not been working collaboratively with their Scottish counterparts on Brexit.